Do you know who I am? You see these glasses? That star right there. Recognize. Well, hello all my book bays. Welcome to week 3 of Garbaugust. I'm your host, Courtney, also known as Touchable Reads and Deeds. Now, for week 3, I kept it really fun. Okay, week 3 is famous people or movie novelizations, so I did a few of those. Now, my first selection is the iconic Miss Tina Turner in My Love Story. Now, this is, I think, her second book. It was written in 2018. But on this one, not only does she talk about her life with Ike Turner, but she also talks about her life beyond that, because everybody thinks of her in terms of Ike and Tina and all the abuse and stuff, and that happened, but she's lived her life more without him than she did with him. She actually left him at age 37. She talks about how she never really found him attractive, but he definitely has a vibe about him, even though he was dangerous. I actually found out that her first kid was actually not with him, so that's something I did not know. She suffered from a learning disability, which she struggled with her entire life, but she was always musically inclined, and so she centered her talents on that. You know, get in where you're good at, okay? She definitely learned that. She also talked about how her mother never really loved her, so that was really unfortunate, of feeling like you're an unwanted child. And also about how Ike and her got along for the most part until he realized that she was his meal ticket, and then of course things went south from there. But she actually left him when she was around age 37 and started living life on her own terms. So she talks about how Europe really embraced her when America did not, as a solo act. So that's where she went from there. She got the love of rock and roll, and you know, you see all of that on the big screen. I really liked how she centers a lot on putting on a good show for her audience, and she doesn't feel like it's just a job. And I thought it was also very interesting that, as beautiful as this lady is, she actually does not think of herself as pretty, but she says that she knows how to fix herself up. I think personally it's a combination of both. And she also does not understand people's fascination with her beautiful legs for days. And you know, she wears a lot of wigs, which is nothing wrong with that, but she was actually very self-conscious about what people would think of her, like in the intimacy arena, with her taking off her wig. So I thought that was pretty interesting. But she did get married at like age 80 something or 70 something to this guy named Erwin Bach that she was with for like 26 years, and then she started having a bunch of health problems. Like I think she had like kidney disease, she had a stroke, cancer, vertigo, and all of these things. So as you know, she has since passed away. Wind. But beautiful, iconic lady will be forever immortalized in history, and that is Miss Tina Turner here. And the next book I read is, so I did a few different graphic novels, okay? So I have this book called Whiteout. Now, Whiteout is very interesting. This is a graphic novel, by the way, and it is in black and white, which is very appropriate for the stress of the situation. So this was actually made into a movie in 2009 and is very similar, which I appreciated. So this is a mystery thriller about this U.S. Marshal who's at some base in Antarctica, and she finds a dead body, and she's going through the mystery of trying to figure out who exactly is this dead body, why did somebody want him killed, and why are they after her. Dun-dun-dun-dun. Now, I thought that this book had tons of information about Antarctica, which I thought was interesting. I did not know this much about it. I just know I definitely don't want to go. It's too freaking cold, and you can get frostbite very easily. Not my jam at all. Now, I thought this book was really fun. It did have some sexism parts, which I was definitely not on board with and wanted to punch some people in the throat, and I think she should have done that, but you know, I'm gonna let her make it. But it's a quick read and definitely fun. I suggest if you want to check out this book. It's really quick, and then check out the movie. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised. There's a lot of correlations and it didn't detract too much, so I like that. And the next book I read, ooh, now this was funny. This is another black and white graphic novel called Sandcastle. Now, there is a movie called Old that was made based off of this book in 2021, and it's basically about a few groups of people that are on this deserted beach, and they find that they are starting to age very, very rapidly. So quickly they realize that they are not able to leave this beach, and then this dead body washes up. So this is their journey trying to figure out what the heck is going on. I felt that it was a wild ride with a bunch of aging and everything comes with that, nudity and sex, and there were children within this group, so I thought that it was weird that they automatically know about sex. So I just kind of, you know, let that go. I did think that there was a few plot holes that I think are filled in a whole lot more if you watch the movie. So I would definitely suggest that. Because in this book, I was like, where did that come from? And then you didn't explain it further. But overall, it was a quick read. I did enjoy that. I think the black and white is definitely appropriate in the ominous tone and adds to the suspense of this book. But quick read. I do think there is a book too, but you know, my library didn't have it. So this is where I'm ending, but it's a complete story. Let's see. Oh, the next book that I have right here, now this is called BRZRKR, BRZRKR, Berserker. Anyway, so this is actually graphic novels. I have volume 1 and 2 that were written by my man Keanu Reeves, okay, and the character kind of sort of at times looks like him. So this is basically about this guy who is essentially immortal. He's been around for like, I don't know, 80,000 years, and he cannot die, and he pretty much wants to be able to have that option. So he's basically working with this military mercenary group, and they are experimenting on him to further their weapon cache, and he's allowing them to in exchange for them helping him how to achieve mortality. Now, I thought that this was extremely bloody, like violent, nasty, just everybody dies, okay? Just in the most gruesome, crazy ways, and it shows. So the graphics are busy, but it is highly entertaining. But beneath it all, it is a sad story about a man trying to find, you know, his origins. So I did like that. Now, I have volumes 1 and 2, and there are definitely more, but you know, this is all the library has, so that's all I got for you there. And the last book I read was actually a NetGalley arc called The Messenger, which is about the life and times of Muhammad Ali. And I actually really did enjoy it as well. I learned a lot about Muhammad Ali that I did not know. Initially, he, you know, got into fighting because somebody stole home dude's bike and he wanted to fight, and because he was angry. So he basically got into boxing from there when he went to report it. And you know, the guy they reported it to owned the gym. I learned that he was a very cocky person, but at least he had the, you know, he had the chops to back that up. He did not want to fight in the Vietnam War and be part of the draft. So it was a case that actually went to the Supreme Court of him wanting to be a conscientious objector. He was a Muslim at the time, so he utilized that as his reasoning. But he also stated something that was very interesting. Now, you know, this is the time during, you know, the civil rights, and he was saying that back at home in the USA, you know, he's being called the N-word, which was in the book, and, you know, he can't sit in certain places and have a meal and whatnot. So he says, why should I go to another country and fight brown people that have never done anything bad to me, yet I come back home and I basically still get the crap kicked out of me by trying to have a meal at a restaurant. When he went overseas to compete and win in the Olympics, he was asked by a reporter about how does it feel to compete for America and win gold medals, yet when he comes back to the US, he can't even drink at the same water fountain as whites. So definitely historical on that one. But he kept a very positive attitude wherever he went, and I did like that. This book definitely had a lot of historical things regarding racism in the book, and I really did appreciate that he touched on a lot of what was happening at the time and the injustices in America. I also thought it was really interesting as well in that it showed people smoking on planes and at the doctor's office or whatnot. So times have definitely changed. Now, one thing that it did not talk about is his split with the Nation of Islam and with Malcolm X, but it did touch on his Parkinson's disease a bit too. So, but overall, a really good book. I think this is like a middle grade or something like that, but definitely an interesting book to learn a bit about Muhammad Ali, and it is a graphic novel as well, so it goes pretty quickly. Well, that is it for me for week 3 of Garbaugust. I'm looking forward to next week because that is anything goes. So we'll see what I come up with then, okay? So please like, subscribe, and definitely leave me some comments. And remember, this star, recognize. Bye-bye.